to discuss this little topic. Mainly bringing it up because the stock market's been fucking pumping for quite a bit now, and there's always these scare stories about how the market's gonna crash, it's gonna correct, whatever. There's uncertainty, or people are getting emotional and they're selling, right? They're selling their assets. Whatever the institutional investors are doing, yeah, we're trying to copy them, but they have a plan on their own, right? Like us peasants, we can't copy everything that the big investors do. They're just playing a completely different game than we are. But the topic I want to discuss is, so if you want to be part of the 1%, the 1% being the wealthy, the millionaires, the few, right? If you want to be part of the 1%, you can't be part of the 99% and expect to be in the 1%. It just doesn't happen that way, right? Because if you're doing everything that majority of people are doing, it doesn't make you any special. And if you want to be with the 1%, you have to not only is it you have to do what they do, but it's not necessarily by you copying what they do you're gonna become one of them. It's what do they not do that you're doing, right? So an example of that is you're going out drinking with your friends every Friday, but the 1% are working on Fridays, that's just like a small example. Hopefully it gets through to you, but I've also been thinking that it kind of ties together with I don't know if it was Warren Buffett that said this, but I'm sure you've heard, be greedy when others are fearful, and be fearful when others are greedy. And that's a really good quote to kind of live by. I think about it very often, especially when I'm looking to buy more investments. Mainly because if, like, take right now for example, there's a lot of handful of selling going on in the market. It's a little unstable. It's not as predictable as it was a couple months ago, where you knew, like, oh, okay, we're in a bull market, it's gonna keep riding up. We're at that spot now. Like, the Bitcoin year to date is back at less than 1% or something. People are getting a bit emotional. They're trying to predict the market now. And if majority of the people are getting emotional, they're feeling uneasy, and they are selling or thinking about selling, you, as the guy that wants to be, or guy or girl that wants to be part of the 1%, you should be thinking about the quote, be greedy when others are fearful, and fearful when others are greedy, right? So if people are scared and they're selling their assets, you should be on the other end looking to buy what they're selling at a discount. And this example has happened earlier this year with XRP, when I was in Quebec and living with 4 other guys in my dorm. And there was out of nowhere, there was hype about XRP because it blew up, and all these guys were talking about putting a couple $1,000s into crypto and XRP because it was going to the moon. They didn't want to miss out, and literally, like, XRP pumped for a little bit, and now it's down from the peak. So I know back in January, these guys bought at the peak, and now their investments are down. All because they followed the hype, and they were They were greedy, right? They didn't want to miss out. They were greedy. They listened to somebody else that didn't know what was going on, that also did, that got caught in the FOMO, and spent money on investments that were already pumped up. Anyways, it is very counterintuitive to go against the majority. But if you want to be part of the 1% and you want to be special, you can't think and act like how majority of the people act and think, or you'll never get out. I just wanted to discuss that really quick. Leave me a comment on how you think, your opinion on this topic, and anything I can do to make the video more enjoyable for you next time. Peace out.